Before diving in, welcome back to Warfield Chronicles. If you value lost knowledge, historical engineering, and old-world survival intelligence, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a new breakdown. Now, let's get straight into it. How ancient households retained heat long after the fire died down. Throughout the Old World, from northern Europe to the mountain regions of Asia, families relied on a simple but highly effective nighttime heat retention method that worked without burning extra fuel. Once the evening fire had produced enough heat, they transferred that warmth into dense, heat-holding materials, usually stones, clay vessels, or packed earth, allowing those materials to slowly release warmth through the night. The principle is thermal mass, but ancient people mastered it long before the term existed. They built thick hearth benches, heated stone sleeping platforms, and even clay-filled bed frames designed to absorb excess heat in the final hours of daylight and radiate it back long after the flames were gone. The method begins with choosing the right thermal mass. Ancient families selected materials that held heat for long periods. River stones were prized because they heated evenly without cracking. Clay pots and bricks were used when stone wasn't available. In wealthier households, soapstone blocks were placed near the fire because they retained warmth for several hours longer than ordinary granite. The key action was heating these objects during the final burn of the night, never during the day when fuel was needed for cooking. The heat was then transferred directly into living spaces through proximity rather than open flame. How they arranged the heated materials for maximum overnight warmth. The warmed stones or vessels were not scattered randomly. They were arranged in tight clusters around sleeping areas or placed under thick bedding platforms. Scandinavian families, often tucked small heated stones into wooden drawers beneath their sleeping planks. Steppe nomads placed heated clay vessels beneath stacked wool layers, creating a sort of slow-release insulation system that kept the interior warm even in sub-zero temperatures. And in regions like the Caucasus, people built elevated clay beds with chambers beneath them, specifically designed to hold heated stones that would radiate warmth upward for hours on end. So, here's how you can apply this same method today with simple materials. The modern version really requires no special tools. Just a few dense stones, a heat-safe pot, or even thick ceramic tiles can serve as your thermal mass. You heat them beside a wood stove, fireplace, or a charcoal bed until they reach a stable warmth. Then, quite carefully, relocate them safely into your sleeping area. They should always be wrapped in wool, canvas or layered cloth to prevent direct contact burns, while still allowing the heat to radiate out. In an off-grid cabin, you could build a basic sleeping platform with a compartment beneath it for holding heated stones. And in an urban setting during a blackout, you might use a heat-safe ceramic pot warmed on a gas stove and placed under insulated blankets at the foot of your bed. The principle really is unchanged from antiquity store heat early, release it late. This is, honestly, an old-world technique that still works flawlessly today. Used correctly, this ancient method reduces fuel consumption, stabilizes indoor temperature through the coldest hours, and gives you a dependable backup in winter conditions when every degree of warmth matters. It's, I'd say, one of the simplest pieces of historical survival engineering you can put into practice. If this added value to your understanding of Old World survival knowledge, do subscribe to Warfield Chronicles and share this guide with someone who appreciates forgotten history that still works today.